Welcome to Studio One. If you like what you see, like and subscribe and comment.
How's UConn dealing with COVID?
Really well. We're super fortunate here. Yeah, like the first few months were kind of like everywhere else in Canada, where it's like 3 months of lockdown, and everyone was scared and panicking. But then our government, issued like a bunch of guidelines and rules and restrictions for the community to follow. Whether you're a bar, a restaurant, a venue, just a regular place. And yeah, people followed those rules really well, and our numbers are really low. Like I don't even know if we've gotten over 79 cases, or maybe we're at like 81 cases total, but it's like nothing. Like people have just been really respectful, and yeah, I got both my vaccines, so yeah, we're just super lucky.
Yeah, is everything opening up over there?
Yeah, like restaurants opened pretty much after the first wave passed. We haven't had our restaurants closed down since then. So even though there was a kind of second wave, it's like our second wave was pretty small. So restaurants have just been open the whole time. Same with venues. Like the the venues were closed for the first little while, and then they've been open for the past 6 months, like doing shows. It's been crazy.
It's great. Yeah, because from what I've seen, you're a big performer. Well, most musicians love performing, and you're certainly that's a big part of your life. So it's nice to
hmm
have that back. Yeah. So I'll just introduce myself. So thank you for coming on to Studio One. We interview artists of diverse genres and backgrounds. I'm Mike. Can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Paris Pick, and I live here in Whitehorse, Yukon.
Yeah. So what is it? I've read that you grew up in Vancouver Island. What was that experience like?
It was good. I was born in North Vancouver and raised between North Van and Squamish throughout my toddler childhood years. And then I moved to Port Hardy, which is the end of Vancouver Island. You have Tofino on one side, Port Hardy's the exact far opposite. And yeah, that's where I spent my high school years and where I graduated.
Yeah. So you wanted to be a cartoonist growing up? Who were your favorite cartoons and cartoonists?
I loved Ralph Bakshi. Um, and I was also just a big fan of like Disney animation. Um, yeah, like I just thought the whole process was really incredible. Like taking individual, images and animating them. I just thought it was super like rad. Um, and I also liked graphic novels too. But yeah, I would say it mostly came from watching lots of animated movies as a child.
Did you mess around and Flash a lot?
I actually I had not Flash so much as I had a tablet that I could use, and I would like, yeah, do some cool, yeah, like make my own little animations.
Yeah. So you were pretty serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I read somewhere that you mentioned being in student council. My student council in grade 11, they spent so much money that in grade 12 we couldn't afford a prom. So what position were you in your student council?
I was like marketing or like public relations. So like if there was like a school dance, I would make the posters. I would help come up with like the theme for like things like that. And I would also do like morning announcements, which is hilarious because like before I was a singer, I actually hated like my voice, and like I was really shy. And I don't even think I played an open what was it called, like the school talent show. I think I entered in like grade 9 or 10, I can't remember. But even just going on the microphone and doing the morning announcements, like "Good morning, PHSS," like what made me so anxious.
Yeah, I read morning announcements in middle school. We were just robots looking back.
Mhm.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were doing, and I think I don't know if the confidence thing, because yeah, I didn't really open up in school too because my friends are pretty introverted. Do you think it's because um of all the clicks? Like if you weren't a popular kid, it was really hard to like just express yourself.
Yeah, I got bullied quite a bit in elementary school. So when grade 8 rolled around, I remember it started with more bullying. But then I was able to kind of like stand my ground, and luckily it got easier as the years went by. But definitely like my fair share of being the weird one in school. So then also being the weird kid that reads the announcements, like you definitely get dogged for that. People would mock my voice and stuff.
Okay, I thought I had it. I don't think I had it nearly as rough. I was both the I was both bullying people and getting bullied, so I was just caught in a mix. Uh,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, there are kids that I sometimes think about that everyone just pushed around, and I wonder if they wonder if they dealt with that part of their life, and they're yeah. Because I apologize to some people I bully, because I felt like moving on, but
Yeah,
those things stick with you. I've tried to
exactly.
I've tried for a while. Like it was years. Like he didn't. My middle school bully didn't even do anything to me really, but it's just memorable. And yeah, I let go like a year ago. Like it's takes a
Yep.
while. Yeah.
I went to Squamish two times since I left. As a kid, I've been there twice. I think I was on tour both times. And one of those times, I came in contact with one of my elementary school bullies. And it was really funny because, he came to my show and he listened to my music on the internet. And yeah, he totally was like, I apologize. And I was like, yeah, all good, man. Like, we're adults now. I appreciate that you can recognize you were mean.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet. That's
Yeah.
yeah. I hope I made good ends with with people. So you mentioned that you were working in camps and that helped you with your songwriting a lot. Um, how did that was it because of the nature or the solitude? Like what part of it helped you a lot?
So I've only worked one camp job, but the time that I did, it was really intense because it was 4 weeks in, 2 weeks home. So it was definitely the solitude. It was like I would work a 12-hour day, and then there's nothing else to do when you're not working other than, they had a gym and they had a little hangout area, like a community zone. And I would just go to this room that was like a secret gym that was kind of like tucked away, like the old gym. And I would sit in there and play my ukulele and write songs. And yeah, I'm the kind of person that definitely, like, if I have no distractions, I'm definitely like way more artistic. Sometimes I struggle on my days off. Like for, today, for example, I've just like been dabbling and I love the internet. I watch a lot of YouTube and stuff. So I get like sidetracked. I think I have ADHD sometimes. So being there was good because it forced me. It's like my partner wasn't there, my cat wasn't there. It was just like work and write.
What attracted you to the ukulele? That seems like a big it's like number one instrument. Like, and you also mentioned that you played the electric ukulele. I didn't even know that was an option.
So my a friend of mine in high school named Josh, he one day, because me and my partner at the time and a bunch of our high school friends had been like starting to jam and like form like little dinky high school bands. And in those projects, I started playing bass, and it was a four-string instrument, and I was like really liking it. And then in grade 12, in grade 11, I'd moved to Nanaimo for a year where I like got into band class for my first time, got used to bass, came back to Port Hardy. They don't have band class there. So I remember like I was working at a cafe and he brought me a ukulele and he's like, you should try this thing out. Like it's easy, it's accessible. You could start writing songs on it because I think I was writing poetry, but I didn't really know how to apply that if I was playing bass. So this was like an instrument I could strum and do the thing. And I immediately clicked with it. And I played the ukulele for like 6 or 7 years total. And it was like the perfect medium between me and my songs. But like, because I found guitar really hard for some reason. So it was just another four-string instrument. And yeah, and then by the end of it, I had like six electric ukuleles. Like some of them are like steel string, like a guitar pretty much,
Mm.
just tuned like a ukulele. And some other ones had, my favorite one had like nylon strings, just like an acoustic ukulele, but it had like tone options and it sounded really nice. So you can make it sound not as twangy as like cheap ukuleles. Yeah. And then I graduated from ukulele to guitar, and now I haven't played ukulele in like 2 years.
Okay.
Which I'm happy about.
Yeah, I used to play violin, so I guess I should have, which is also, I think, well, I shouldn't think, which is also four strings. So I think I might have, it should have been an option for me, but
Hmm.
yeah, I messed around a garage band, but that's pretty much about it. So what did there was a lot of, I guess, things I learned about you from the sit down episode, the podcast that you were on. What is the hitchhiking experience in Canada? You mentioned that it's a mutual fear for both hitchhikers and drivers.
Yeah, totally. Like, Canada is actually a really friendly place. Like, we're lucky here. I hear traveling in like certain areas in the world are like better than others, but I feel like Canada's generally pretty good. Like I was 18 years old when I did that trip across Canada before I ended up in the Yukon, and would I do it now? Maybe not, but maybe also, I'm not sure. But at the time, I definitely wasn't thinking about, like I started my trip in McBride, which was like, the first thing I did was go on the Highway of Tears, and I didn't even know what the Highway of Tears was. And then, cops pulled over and were like, "Ma'am, hitchhiking's illegal. Do you know about the road and like what's happened?" And I was like, "Okay, well, like, are you gonna drive me to Edmonton?" And they were like, "No, like, I guess not." So I was like, "Okay, well, I'm just gonna stand here and mind my own business." And they took my photo, my name, my mother's phone number, as much information as they could, and said, "All right, like, you do you, I guess." But it was mostly good. Like, yeah, lots of nice people.
Yeah, from my experience, I take a lot of calls now from people in Ontario. It seems to be pretty honest, pretty straightforward, and we're still Canadians are still easy to work with. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you also from the podcast, because you mentioned, I think, I guess from various sources, I feel like you might be a foodie. So is there any restaurants in the country or just anywhere in the world that you want to go?
Ooh. Um, I'm not really like I don't have any specific um like places, but I am someone who loves food. I pursued culinary for a good chunk of time. And I definitely, since I have like British roots, like my mom and my dad are from the UK, I really want to go to the UK and have like a traditional British breakfast because I know I'd love it. And I also really want to go to Japan.
Hmm.
I remember in high school, I never learned French. I didn't like French. I didn't click with French, but I was a big weeaboo and I watched anime in Japanese all day, every day. So then when I was finally put in Japanese class in like grade 9 or 10, I thrived and I like totally was starting to learn the language and I was really excited. And I think I took it for 2 years. And so I definitely want to go to Japan and eat my way.
You write? Can you type in Japanese? I don't know what the system is.
Like you mean like in the different like it's been a few years, like probably not, but yeah, like I got pretty good at the writing, like practicing the hiragana, katakana, and kanji, like just the fact that, but like there's so much to learn, like it would take forever to read a newspaper.
Yeah. Yeah, Japan seems to have like really weird quirks. Like it's just a pain in the butt to open up a bank account and just like do anything with it. I've been following this I guess expat who works in Japan, and the grocery stores all have this like weird music playing in them, and uh like banking makes zero sense because they charge you fees for everything. So
So
Japan
weird.
is a funny place. Yeah.
Yeah,
But me too. I'm dying to just go somewhere
eat
really different.
real ramen.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Like
good.
what? Because like I don't know, like you guys have everything there, right? You have like what kind of options do you have in
We're
like?
slowly getting bigger here. Like I'm not sure what our population is right now, but I'm gonna look it up.
Sure.
Let's see, 25,000 ish. So we don't even have a 7-Eleven,
Hmm.
but we have lots of like local businesses, which is way more my vibe. So like, like there's multiple local pizza places, there's lots of sushi, Chinese food.
Hmm.
Um we just got our first Thai restaurant. It's called Night Market. I haven't been yet, but I'm really excited that we even have that.
Mhm.
We got some East Indian food trucks. No East Indian restaurant yet, but I heard a rumor. We have Caribbean restaurants, like, yeah, pretty much everything. So it's kind of cool. Like, we're very lucky. And I try and support local as much as possible. My favorite place is this place called Wood Street Ramen, and I literally like live there. Like, I'll go like twice a month or like once a week when I can afford it.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds pretty good then. So, going back into traveling, so Dave Chappelle and on Joe Rogan the other day talked about how important it is to travel for the good of the soul and to gain perspective. What have you learned from all your travels and your tours on the road?
um, uh, I think yeah, it's just like experiences change you as a person. It's taught me to like be able to improvise without it like really causing me stress, like just being spontaneous, being able to make spontaneous decisions. So like, because there's lots of people that like they won't even think about traveling like unless they have, like an Airbnb booked and a this booked and a tour booked and a blah blah blah, and it's like very regimented. And like for me, I just feel like that's like not the way to do it. Like it's more like bring a backpack, pick one location, get there, and then feel it out and like hop in a cab and ask your cabbie, "Hey, where should I stay?" Or like get to your hostel and then ask those people who are there like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" Like just having these like natural things happen definitely makes it like just more awesome.
Yeah. So like a choose your own adventure book.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's nice. So you mentioned in multiple interviews that Hall and Oates had a huge influence on you. When did you first hear their songs, and which one of their songs are your favorites?
I started listening to Hall and Oates because my partner kind of he like has a bunch of their vinyls, but the one that he put on was like a best of vinyl. And I remember listening to it, and like a lot of the songs, I was like, oh my god, I remember these songs from when I was a kid. My mom listening to them, but I just like had no clue. And yeah, I just love them. I think they're so fun and like cheesy, and like I'm a cheesy writer, so it's totally my style, and that's why like these days I've been embracing the like yacht rock vibe just because it's totally like all the music I listen to. The song Sarah Smile is like one of my favorites. It's really cheesy. But it's like so smooth and like awesome. I just like love it. So that's probably my favorite one.
So go more into yacht rock because that's on your bio. I don't really know. Explain to me what yacht rock is.
Yacht rock is like smooth rock that's like kind of like people joke and say it's like dad rock, like music that dads would like. So it's like the Eagles and like
Hmm.
Hall and Oates and Lionel Richie and like I don't know, just like super silly stuff like that. So yeah, like if you look up yacht rock, you'll find like lots of stuff, and it's kind of like mid 70s. There's some 60s, like it's kind of like late 60s, 70s. Like Eagles. Yeah.
It sounds kind of in a way like city pop. You know,
Okay.
yeah. I think it's a Japanese genre that's like it's very 80s pop. It's very cheesy. Uh,
Mhm.
very
Like
kind
Steely
of
Dan. Like Steely Dan is like definitely yacht rock. Kenny Loggins, like that stuff.
yeah. You just feel like you're like you can feel the time, I guess,
Yeah.
taking place from another time. Yeah. So my legal name is Yukun, one letter away from Yukon. So I always
Oh.
feel like I've had a connection with that place. I also feel like I have a connection with GMC Yukon SUVs. Uh,
Oh, cool.
so you traveled all over the country. What made you settle in Whitehorse? Is it because of the vibrant music scene there, or is it some other factors?
It was totally random. So after my trip across Canada, my grandma found out that I had hitchhiked all the way to Halifax, and I saw her in London, Ontario, and she had like a full-on panic attack. She's like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe you hitchhiked here. I'm gonna fly you home." And I was like, "Sure, I'll take a free ride back across the country." So she flew me back to Port Hardy where I had graduated. And I got to Port Hardy and I hung out for a little bit. And, I realized that like lots of my best friends were sitting in the same spot that I had left them 3 months ago. Like, I was like, I'm going to go do all this crazy traveling. And then meanwhile, I came back to Port Hardy and it's like, it looked like my friend didn't even leave the couch. And I was like, yeah, like I got itchy feet. Like, I got to go. So I met some travelers because Port Hardy is one of those places where like a lot of people go to, and I met these two French hitchhiking girls, and one of them was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about going, either to the Yukon or the Okanagan. Like, would you want to try hitchhiking together?" And I was like, "Sure." And it was like, "Well, where should we go? Like up or down?" And we flipped a coin, I think, and it was like up was for the Yukon, down was for the Okanagan, and like we flipped it and it was like boom, to the Yukon we go.
Okay.
And then I was only supposed to be here. We made the agreement that we were only going to be here for 3 weeks and then go to Banff. But I was here, in the first week. I fell in love with it and I was going to open mics, and I was 18. I was sneaking into bars, going to those open mics and jams, and it was just wild. I was like, no, I don't want to go.
The going back to our mutual hate of the French language, the French girls, were they like from France or Quebec?
Quebec.
Okay, because
Yeah.
when I went to New York years ago and I heard some French girl walking on the street, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. I get why they call it the sexiest language. It all makes sense.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't know about Quebec French per se, but Ontario French is very butchered. It's
Yep.
very like mixed up and not glamorous. Yeah, so
Yep.
took me
I
a while.
like the Quebec French too, though. I had a good time in Montreal. I was like falling in love with everybody.
Oh, yeah. So you mentioned that getting the Yukon Media Development Grant supported you to finish your album and the tour playing the album. Do you have any advice for people applying for grants?
Repetition. It's like it's a privilege to be able to apply for money. So you can't complain when you don't get it, which has happened to me 2 or 3 times, and that's fine. Like the first time I remember I got denied was in like 2014 or something for an album grant, a demo grant. And I remember crying and feeling like it was a personal thing. But like now, all this time later, it's like I can open a letter, and if it says yes or no, I'm like, whatever, at least I tried, because it's the trying that matters. So try your hardest, even, don't, you have to like try and motivate yourself and be like, you know, yes, it's going to be a few hours of your time. It might take 3 days, but like, again, you're applying for free money. So it's like, that's a privilege. And if you get it, cool. And if you don't, try again, because it's like, we're lucky here in Whitehorse. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we have a lot of grants here in Ontario, but I feel like it's probably because also competition is probably crazy too. But
Yeah, more competition there. Here, it's not that bad.
yeah. So, what are the greatest lessons you learned from busking other than playing louder than the other person and dressing up?
Hmm. I learned that it kind of like when you're on the street and you're busking for money, you're kind of no different than the guy down the street panhandling for money. So it kind of taught me, like how to be grounded. Like, how there's so many times where you're like maybe on a main street somewhere and you walk past a homeless person. And I have lots of friends who like will sometimes say really rude off the cuff things. And like I've been that person that people have just walked right past and not given money, and I needed that money to eat food that day. So like just like it helped put that in perspective of like I was pretty much a homeless person too, but a much more privileged one, and choosing to be homeless rather than forced homeless. And it's like, yeah, it's a totally different thing. But I think that's one thing it taught me was just like how to be chill and appreciate what I have. And yeah, like when I'm on Main Street now and I walk past someone panhandling or busking or anything, I'm always giving them money because I've been that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't really done anything like busking, but there was just like one time I had a bunch of like camera equipment, but it all looked like luggage. And I was waiting for a friend and I was sitting down like near like a train station. and like I knew people thought I was homeless just because I was sitting down in the street corner. So I felt that for like very temporarily, and it's a really weird feeling. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I try to give, when I have change on me or something, but yeah, it's always complicated emotions when
Yeah.
see someone. Yeah, yeah. So Feeling Love, your debut album has been out for a couple of years now. What are the greatest lessons you have learned from making and promoting your debut album?
Um, I definitely learned a lot about like how to work with a producer. Like my friend Patrick produced it, and I had never really hired a producer before, so he was my first time. So I got to learn how to like navigate, that relationship and like what that even means. Like, what does a producer do and what is his roles? And then, you know, meeting in the middle and making decisions. And like, it was really cool. And it, taught me how to like, again, not take things personally. Like, if something needs to get changed or a suggestion is brought up by a band member or whatever, it's like I need to be open to those ideas. So definitely over the years now, I'm like a lot more open to hearing ideas. And yeah, it definitely just helped my confidence because it's scary recording your own voice, and it's scary recording, in general sometimes. So it's cool. Like, it taught me just how to like loosen up a bit and not take it so seriously, because I feel like you do a better job when you're not like super tight and stressed out. It's like just relax and do your thing.
Yeah, that all sounds like really good lessons. Yeah. Mm. So the Pricks, your band, why are they called the Pricks, and how did you meet these guys?
So it was funny. We played a show this weekend in Haynes Junction, and the gentleman that introduced us, he mentioned he found a snippet somewhere. I don't know where he found it, but the band name, the Pricks, is not actually based on the people in the band, but the name comes from my past lovers. So it's like Paris Pick and the Pricks, the people of the past. But the people I play with are actually like totally not the Pricks. They're like more like the gentleman, but Paris Pick and the gentleman, or the nice guys wasn't gonna be the as catchy. I like alliteration, so um yeah, that's where the band name came from. Also, again, like since my mom was British, it's like something that she always threw around that word pricks, and I always thought it was really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like I was watching a British like a gangster movie yesterday, and I just had to look up every slang they said, like because nothing made sense to me. So
Yeah,
the funny
there's
connect.
a lot for sure.
Yeah. So your music digs deep into self-confidence and insecurity. What kind of insecurities did you have growing up, and how did you overcome them?
Um, Definitely like body image insecurities. Again, like I said, in elementary school, I got bullied a lot. My mom is like part Greek, so I have like hairy arms and hairy everything. And I remember like being made fun of because my arms are hairy, which is funny because when I look at my arms now, I'm like, dude, it's like nothing. Kids are just so evil. So, like, just like you get bullied as a kid. Also, I remember like I was in ballet as a toddler and being told I was fat, stuff like that. And it's just like that stuff will scar you. But I'm very lucky. Like my, mom suffered with bulimia for a long time, and she had body image issues of her own. And as a child, she did nothing but like, boost me up, like made me always complimented me, always said, oh, don't believe what people are telling you. It's fine. You're fine. You're perfect. You're beautiful. It's all good. And like she really helped nail that in, because by the time I was a teenager, obviously I was struggling because then your body's changing again and things are all weird. But for the most part, it was like I had the support from my mom to make sure that bullies didn't get to me with that stuff. But yeah, insecurities like that mostly.
Yeah. Yeah, I had body image, yeah, like fat kid issues. Uh like people really didn't care after high school, and
Yeah. I feel like when you're an adult, like that's just it. It's like, or even when you're like in your late teens, like people just start realizing like it's just not cool to talk like that to other people. Like that's what it comes down to. It's like messed up.
Yeah, because I would sometimes ask my friends like, "Hey, why not?" My parents like are very like get into shape, like makes
Yeah,
sense. But like I asked my friend like, "Hey, why don't you guys like shame me or anything?" They're like, "Dude, if I bring this up every like like that's not fun. Like that's not what friends are for."
exactly.
Yeah, like
Yep,
I like you for who you are. Like I think that's what he's trying to
exactly.
say. Yeah.
Yep.
So, um, yeah, I've recently like started embracing myself like really like in the recent couple of years, and it's just easier to live with. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important to just be okay with yourself as is. That's a huge thing. I'm all about that.
Yeah. So your video for Hope for the Best, I've read that it was an ode to a pizza place called Epic Pizza, and I think it also related to life in the pandemic. Um, is and you also mentioned that Epic Pizza is the first venue you played in.
Yeah. Yeah, so Epic Pizza was like a pizzeria in this little community called Riverdale, and they had like a weekly open mic. And I'm pretty sure the first time I played an open mic in Whitehorse was at Epic Pizza. And it was really cool. There's this lady that runs it. Her name's Peggy Hannafin. She's been running it for a long time, like 30 years or something, which is wild. And the pizza place shut down prior to the pandemic, I believe, and it was really a strike to the community because it was just like the place we could all go once a week to like get together. Like it'd just be all musicians in the crowd and all musicians there to play, and it was just really cool place. And the food was really good, and my friend Josh owned it. So yeah, the music video concept was like, you know, they closed. I remember always joking about how like my dream job would be being a pizza delivery girl because you just get to like smell and eat pizza all day and drive around and listen to your favorite music. And I just imagined like me driving around in like an old car listening to like Hall and Oates while like blasting, like and eating pizza. And then yeah, it just kind of all worked out. Like I kind of like jotted down my idea and sent it to my friends who filmed it, the Bullen brothers, and they were totally down. They were like, "This is a great idea. Let's do it."
Yeah. I have there's like a chicken place near me. I think Portuguese chicken that closed down a
Mm,
while ago before the pandemic too, but it's honestly I think better than Nando's. Um, I just don't know where to get like it's I just miss it so much. And um, going talking about like your I guess job fantasy. My favorite job that I've ever done it was just high school working in a sushi restaurant because I smell the food. There was like top 40 playing. I only worked like maybe 10 hours a week, maybe that's why, but it was yeah, like I just feel like working and doing what you like at work is super important. Um
yeah.
yeah.
Well, and I think that's why I wanted to pursue culinary for a little while because I love food. So I was like, I love eating food, I love making food. But then I found out that I don't like making food in a stressful environment, which lots of kitchens are, and they're very underpaid. So 7 years later, I was getting paid the same wage. And I
Mm,
was like, this sucks. Like, it's like constant whiteouts all night. You're getting, like orders, orders, orders. And then, like, your boss just doesn't even give you a raise. And it's like, this sucks. Like, it's hard to keep people around. Kitchens have a very high turnover rate unless you pay your people properly, which not many kitchens do. So I'm lucky now because I got out of it after that camp job. That was my last cooking job ever. And after that, I took a gig as a dishwasher at Wood Street Ramen, the place I was talking about,
mm,
which was way more up my alley because I got to work for people that I loved their food, but I wasn't on the line. So I didn't have to do anything that was stressing me out. I just had to wash dishes where I could listen to music. And then I got to eat ramen at the end of every shift. So I was like, this is way better.
yeah. There was I was listening to Matty Matheson talk about his life for and it was very I feel like even now there's like a bro culture like chefs like they have to like rely on some sort of substances to keep going because the work is so hard and
Yeah.
something so intense. Yeah, the restaurant I loved worked and they tried to put me on kitchen, but like I was clearly very inefficient, so they put me back on like wait staff after like I want to say like a couple weeks. They thought I looked like the part and they thought I had because I loved it so much, but like it to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, talk about your upcoming EP, Hope for the Best, because I certainly hear a lot of cautious optimism in your music.
Yeah. When you say cautious, like, what do you mean?
Just like, I don't know, maybe it's like the tone and the lyrics combined, like hope for the best, right? You're not looking towards the future. You're like the future is there and it could be great, but like it's not
Right.
certain. I think that
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so this album I can't remember when I started writing it. I feel like I went on tour across Canada in promotion of my last record, Feeling Love, because that was like kind of the thing you do is you like record an album, then you tour it. But I didn't tour Feeling Love. Like I did a BC tour. But yeah, so I think I started writing these songs after Breakout West, after I showcased. Sometime between after then and now was when I was like writing. It was like throughout the winter because we started recording in the summer of last year, I think. So yeah, and it's just like more of the same, like me and my emotional journey. Like for me, writing is very cathartic, so it's definitely like lots of venting how I'm feeling. And that's not how everyone writes. Some people, they're writing a story and it has nothing to do with them, or they're more metaphorical. But for me, it's pretty close to home.
hmm yeah. So thank you so much for coming on. I feel like from the stuff I read about you and talking to you today, we're pretty similar, and I'm still really waiting to like just completely liberate and completely find myself. I'm getting there, but
Yeah,
it sounds like you have, and that's really great. And yeah, Toronto's a great food town. It's also a huge city. Come fly by with your get your
totally.
hands tired and fly by. And yeah, I can't. Like because of you, I want to like go to see UConn because like my name is close
Yeah,
enough, and
you totally should. It's really great. I'll take you for ramen.
yeah, I'm really curious about the North. Yeah, yeah. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Hope you have a good day. I don't know
Yeah.
what the weather is like in Yukon.
It's kind of it's getting there. It's kind of a rough start to summer, but we'll see what happens. I have my album release in a few weeks, so I'm hoping that it's not too nice around then because people hate sitting in the bar when it's nice out.
Oh,
So I'm hoping for rain that weekend.
that's I didn't know that. That's good to
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a good one.
Have a good one. Bye now.
Studio One.